Hey YouTube, how's it going? Retro Dave back with another video, and yes, in this video it's more Super Nintendo goodness. I've been a bit of a Super Nintendo kick recently, as you might have noticed. But yeah, this video has got some very special items in there. Two very big titles indeed. Another two games I picked up from my local game shop, and I have a trade items that I got yesterday in the post from another YouTuber. So I shall do that at the end. Right, let's go straight in at the deep end and start off with the heavy hitters. So let me tell you a bit of story about the first game. So this first game I have wanted for a while. I've put it off mainly due to the price and the fact that there's a lot of fakes of it knocking around. And I've seen games come up for sale, been a bit unsure. Dodgy boxes. I mean, I've done a video on this already before. But yeah, I was just super cautious of the game. One did come up about 3 or 4 months ago, maybe Christmas time, and it looked like it was genuine. It was advertised as genuine, but at the time I didn't have the money. I bought Tropical Fish for the Game Watch instead at that time, so I passed on it. This came up for sale about 3 weeks ago now, and I said it looked like it was okay from the picture. I had to ask the question, I basically said, is the game legit, because I don't want to buy a fake one. And they said, yeah, we've had it several years, no reason to suspect it's not real. So I took the word on it, made them an offer, accepted the offer, and yeah, as soon as it turned up, I opened the jiffy bag, ran straight to the garage, opened up the cartridge to make sure that the game PCB was real, that it was nothing wrong with it at all. So that checked out. Then checked the game, the label, that looked real as well. Again, there's a few little marks on it. So yeah, you can just tell by looking at it close up that it's fine. And then obviously test it out and played, and it plays fine. So I was happy that I've managed to get an original. So the game in question is Wild Guns for the Super Nintendos. This is a PAL version. As you can see on the label, let's see if I can get a close up on this. So there's a little bit of damage here, and just a few little minor. I'm just going to focus on that. There's a few little marks and creases on the label. General age-related wear, which is kind of stuff like this. You kind of want to see. If it's like too crisp, it's almost too good to be true. So I have had it apart, and it is legit. So yeah, Wild Guns. So it's a cross Natsume and Titus release. It's kind of in the same style as Sunset Riders. Sunset Riders is like a side-scrolling, like Wild West shooter, and this is more of a arcade-style fixed-screen shooter where you've got like a time limit to survive. So you basically have to survive like waves of enemies coming, and you basically are moving across the front of the screen. You can like double jump out of the way, shoot your gun, swing your lasso. So it's kind of like survive for a time limit and defeat like a boss. It's a really good game. It's actually quite difficult to control at first. It takes a good couple of goes to get used to the control scheme. But yeah, highly recommend giving it a go. Fantastic little game. I'm really glad to knock this one off of the list. So that is Wild Guns. Okay, let's move that over there. So next game, another biggie. I have owned this game before. I think I got it. It must have been about summer 2014. I'm going to have a guess. It's around that time. And I had the game cart only. And last year I needed the money, so I had to sell it. It's just one of those things, sometimes if you need to raise some funds, sometimes you've got to sell a few bits to raise the cash. And last year was one of those examples. So I sold the game on, knowing that I could sell it very quickly, which I did. I sold it in about half an hour. And after about a month of selling it, thinking, shit, why do I sell that game? I maybe could have sold something else, but it's a decision I made at the time. So I wanted it back ever since, and I've kind of just been umming and ahhing, saving up and thinking, when should I get it, and looking for the right deal. And I have this whole debate of buying it box complete and stuff, because I really would love like a complete box complete like SNES and NES collection. But I think there's just some games that it's just not going to happen. I just can't justify the insane prices of some of the games. I mean, I've spent some good money on games, but there's sometimes it's just like it's borderline, like, you know, crazy. And I just can't, at the minute anyway, I just can't justify it. I'm not saying never. I mean, if it come down in price a bit maybe, but I just couldn't do it. So I was happy to settle for another cartridge only. Again, it's a real cartridge, not a reproduction. I don't want to go down that road. I want to have like the original game at the very least. So it's an RPG, and the game is Earthbound. So yeah, I have another copy of Earthbound. I don't think I even mentioned I sold it last time. Not that I need to tell anyone, but you know, I'm telling you now. I've got another one. so Earthbound again. It's a quality, quirky RPG. Kind of. See, what I like about the RPG, this RPG, is kind of it's more like modern world. It's not like fantasy based, and that's what makes it fun. Alien invasion, alien ship lands in your town, and you have to basically save the world, if you like. So it's a quality little game. I love the music, the text, the humour, and when I played it last time, I think I got to the second town, and I've just started it again. So I'm looking forward to getting back into it. So that is the classic Earthbound. Right. Oh, tripping over my own stuff here on the floor. Right, next up is a couple of games I got from my local game shop. I popped in there after work the other day, just on the off chance, and the guy in there knows straight away that what I'm after, and he literally pulled out this box and said, I've just got this in, have a look through it. And to be fair, there was some half decent stuff in there, but I already had it already boxed and stuff, so he had a few decent games. Spotted a couple of games in there. I thought, you know what, I just want to pick them up and play them. One of them I've had before, and the other one, do you know what, I think I have played it brief. I think I got it in a bundle of stuff I got on a house clearance like a couple of years ago. I think I literally tested it and sold it straight on with a load of stuff I sold. Oh, do you know what, it was so long ago. I got a load of stuff about a good 2 years ago perhaps. I think I had it and tested it and never played it. So he had the game there. I thought, you know what, I'll grab them both. He wanted £8 a game. I said no, I'm not paying £8 a game. I'll give you 5 each, and he then said 6. So we settled on £6 for each game, so £12 all in. You know, just games I want to play. I've got them loose cartridge, and nothing amazingly fantastic, but they're still a good fun to play. So the first game, the one I mentioned that I've only literally just tried and not actually put any time into at all, and that is the game Pilot Wings. I think, I could be wrong, but I think this is a launch title on the SNES. I'm honestly not too sure, but it's one I want to try. I know it uses a bit of the old Mode 7, showing off kind of the SNES's capability of the Mode 7, but it's, I mean, I've literally played it for all of about 5 minutes. I mean, this was like, what day is it today? Thursday. So I think I picked it up Tuesday after work. So I've literally had like 10-15 minutes on it. And it's pretty good so far, just getting the lessons, like doing the skydiving, falling through the hoops and stuff. So it's a game I want to give a bash to, give a try. But again, for £6 I can't really grumble. If it turns out to be not my cup of tea, I can always move it on. The other game that I bought out of there, I had this before and just wanted just to play it again. You know, I thought, you know, fuck it, I want to give it another play, and that is Super WrestleMania. So that was £6. So happy to give that a play again. I think I gave my other one to Jonathan Hart. I think, yeah, it's your name, Johnny Hart. And I gave him my other copy. It must have been about a year ago now. It's got to be coming up for about a year anyway. So if you're watching, mate, I hope you're doing okay, and hope you're still playing the one I gave you. so I've got it again now. Again, just because I wanted to give it a play. So Super WrestleMania. Right, now we're going to move on to the trade. So I did a trade with Richard Turner. I basically sent him a load of toys and bits and pieces, stuff from my childhood back in the day, stuff I decided that, you know what, it was nice to have it, nice to find it again in my mum's loft. But yeah, I made a decision, you know what, now I want to part with it. Happy that I found it, and I know Richard's going to look after it. The parcel hasn't arrived for Richard yet, but it's due to land tomorrow, so hopefully he'll do a video soon. You'll get to go and see what I sent him. So what Richard sent me, now I only wanted one thing. I said, you know, I'll do a trade for this game, and then he kind of like mentioned a few other bits and pieces that he said that he was going to send me before, and he sent them anyway. So Richard, thanks very much for adding these extra bits in, but I'll show you the game first that I initially was going to trade for. And it's another Super Nintendo game. It was just a loose cartridge again, something I just want to give a try. It's another RPG, and it is Illusion of Time. So not really give this game any real playtime at all. I had it before, the American cartridge, Illusion of Gaia? Again, I must have only played it for about 5-10 minutes. So I thought, you know what, Richard wanted to, you know, trade something. So I thought I'll take this one and give it another try. So that is Illusion of Time. It's in good condition. I literally haven't even put it in the SNES. This come yesterday. So all I've done is give it a quick clean up. So I'll probably give this a play tonight after the video. Now Richard also very kindly chucked in another NES item. Do you know what? I had one of these. It must have been 2007, that kind of time, and I had a boxed one. And I got rid of it when my daughter was born, and I haven't seen one since. And Richard kindly sent me a U-Force controller for the NES. So it's basically like early kind of like infrared like sensor game. So you kind of have to wave your hand across like to play Mario and then jump. And do you know what? I haven't played one since about 8 years ago. It must be 8 or 9 years now. There should be like there's a handle that goes in there for like, I think like flight sims and stuff, but that's not here. But you can definitely use it without that for like platform games. So I'm gonna have to look for there's like a combination here on buttons. You have to have these set in a certain way per game. So I'm gonna have to look up which games go for which settings, then perhaps give it a try. Richard weren't sure if it worked, so we don't know if it's a worker yet, but I shall give it a try, and Rich, I shall let you know if it works. So that was the U-Force, and he also very kindly sent me a DVD box set. Now he did a video saying that he found this in his local charity shop, so he kindly sent me his one that he had before, which has got a rip on the box, and he wanted to upgrade it, so I appreciated that he sent it my way. And that is a box set of Transformers DVDs. So I've only got like one DVD, I think it's up behind there somewhere. I grabbed one DVD a little while ago, must have been last year sometime, and then he's decided to send me the complete Generation 1 collection. So Rich, I really appreciate that. I mean, you could have stuck it on eBay, you could have got some money back, but you decided to send it to me, so I really appreciate that, mate. You didn't have to send it to me, honestly, but I know you were keen to send it my way, and I really appreciate it, mate. I just didn't want you to you know, lose out. You know, you've obviously bought your other one, and you could have quite easily sold this on, but I really appreciate that you've decided to send it to me, and I shall, yeah, at some point in my life have to sit down and watch these. I don't get a lot of time to watch many films. I've still got some films up there I've bought and haven't watched yet, so this will go up behind the Mario Clock and the Metroid with my other DVDs. So again, thanks for that, thanks to Trade, thanks to the U-Force and the game, really appreciate it. And I hope you like the bits that I've sent you, I'm sure you will, but I look forward to seeing the video on that. Arcade update. Okay, so you remember I got the Nintendo Popeye arcade machine off of Alex, Nintendo Arcade, and that was about, I think, October, end of October last year. You may remember that I got the Mario Brothers PCB and kit, which was the control panel, the bezel and the marquee, and I plugged it all in, and I did think I mentioned that it basically didn't work properly, like you didn't get any of the title screen. So obviously I was convinced that there was something wrong with the board. Alex wasn't sure either. He's like, oh yeah, must be, you know, must be something wrong with it, not too sure. And I kind of took it on as a bit of a project, and I did mention that I'd either get it looked at, or I'll basically source another one another time, or whatever. So this is basically what's happened. So a couple of weeks ago, went on Facebook, and I kind of went on there just at the right time, as you do. Jumped on, and as soon as I logged in and went to the top on a Facebook selling site, someone was basically selling a Mario Brothers arcade kit. Pardon me, they were stripping the cabinet for parts. All parts, so PCB, the whole lot, control panel, everything. And I literally logged in, it said listed 1 minute ago, so I was like, I can't believe my luck. I literally signed in and bang on the right time, and just commented straight away and just said, can I have the PCB and the wiring harness? I'm sitting there waiting for like a response for like what felt like forever. And 5 minutes later, I got a comment saying, PCB and wiring harness is yours if you want it. I was like, fucking result. So I messaged the person in the private messenger, and basically said, look, I'm in the UK, you know, you're obviously in America, and you know, I'm happy to pay the postage, whatever, to get it to me. Are you happy to post it? She said, no, she's never posted to the UK before. I said, look, I don't mind. I'm not going to mess you about. You get it boxed up and get a quote or whatever, and I'll sort it out. So I was basically messaging her to and fro, talking about it. She sent me photographs of it working, pictures of the board, pictures of everything. So, you know, reassuring me that, you know, she weren't going to mug me off either. Obviously, you know, you send someone some money in another country and via PayPal, you just don't know what's going to happen, do you? But no, so she was honest. She gave me like a rundown of the game, pictures of everything, pictures of the box, picture of it wrapped up in the box, pictures of the box taped up, picture of the like the customs label, like the label they put on the box and stuff over there. So yeah, I was kept up to date the whole way through, so I really appreciated it. And like I say, she sent it on the Friday, and by the Monday it was in the UK, and it had to sit at customs for 2 days. So I was like, oh great, you know, I knew I'd have to pay the tax when it turned up because of the value. So basically, it turned up. I got a letter from Parcel Force that I had to pay like £42 in tax, which was a bit of a gutter, but you know, I knew it was happening. That's what you got to do when you're importing stuff from the States. That's what it comes with the territory, doesn't it? You have to pay the taxes. So drove Saturday morning, first thing, got up early, drove to the Parcel Force, picked up the parcel, come home. I'm thinking, please work, you know, like, you know, be in one piece for fuck's sake. You know, if I can get a damaged PCB come between, like, within this country, which I'll talk about in a minute, for something else. Coming from America, I was thinking, Jesus Christ, you know, is it going to be in one piece? So I was dead paranoid. So got home, opened it up, it looked to be in one piece. So I rushed out here, pulled Popeye forward, got the back off, fucking got all the connectors out, plugged it in, turned it on, and guess what? Same thing as the other one. So I was pissed off, is an understatement. So I've turned it on, and it started, well actually it started up a scrambled screen at first. I thought, you're fucking kidding me. Like, I've got all like weird numbers and letters and colours and shit, and it made no sense. I was like, what the hell's going on? So I turned it off, unplugged it, plugged it back in, then it came on, made the noise, came on, put my head round, and it had like the Nintendo of America 1983 at the bottom, but again, no scrolling Mario Brothers, no characters, nothing. I was like, you're fucking kidding me, what are the chances of this? So I opened up the door, coined it up, start the game, same as the other one, it was start the game. In fact, actually the other board that I got off Alex doesn't always start, it just crashes, but this game will start and it will run, and you can hear everything going on. You can hear the enemies coming, you can control Mario, and you can hear him moving and jumping, but you can't see anything. You can't see him, you can't see the pipes, you can't see the turtle, Koopa Troopers, you can't see nothing. All you can do is hear it, but you can see the level, you can see like the stairs, the floor or whatever, the blue floor. So I'm thinking, what the hell's going on? So I've obviously in a pissed off mood, kind of turned it all off, walked in the house and just thought, what, you know, what's going on? Messaged the person and said, look, it's turned up, it ain't working properly. And then I'm thinking, obviously I'm thinking, hang on a minute, if my board and this board is doing the exact same thing, maybe there's a problem with the cabinet, not the game. So then I started doing some more research. Now I should have obviously researched this a little bit further before I jumped in, but I saw the for sale post for the Mario Brothers game and thought I need it, because I was convinced that the one I had was busted, and I haven't touched it since like last year when I got it. So anyway, rambling on. So I did a bit of research on a couple of websites. I looked at small forum threads and stuff, and someone mentioned that you can swap a Popeye into a Mario Brothers, but you can't swap a Mario Brothers into a Popeye. Not quite sure how that works, but it basically said on the thread that Mario Brothers requires an additional 12 volt and a -5 volt to the board, which Popeye doesn't have. So how Popeye is wired up, it won't work Mario. So this is the problem I've got. So I did, again, I messaged someone on Facebook about it. They confirmed the same thing. It's basically, it's how it's wired up. So I was thinking, you know, I need a new power supply at first, thinking, great, now I need to source a power supply. And then I got in the back of the machine again, had a look, and I can see how the connectors on the power supply, I was on the phone to Alex, actually, I phoned Alex up and he said the same thing. He said, check the connections, because the power supplies are all the same in the cabinets as far as he's aware. It must be how it's wired. So I looked at the wiring harness on Popeye, compared it to the one I bought, and I could see that it's wired differently. So I'm pretty confident that if I was to basically remove the wiring harness in Popeye, put this one in, it would work. But the connectors aren't the same, and the colours of the wires further up the harness are different. They're in a different arrangement. So I don't know which one does what. And I'm reluctant to start cutting things. I'm not going to start doing it. So I basically need to get my mate round with like a connector kit and basically match the connectors I've got. So it's a case of just basically unplugging and plugging it in. I'm not going to start cutting and joining anything. I'm not going to mess about and butcher the Popeye cab, because it's been restored. It's got a loom in it that it doesn't need anything doing to it. I don't want to basically cock it up. So I need to get this loom checked and, you know, meter read, and basically get it so it'll work, if that makes sense. But I don't know what I'm doing. That is way above my experience, and that is very little to none. So I don't want to start pissing around with it. So basically, let me show you what I bought. I've been talking enough. So we have a Mario Brothers PCB. So this is the second one. I now own two, and they're both doing exactly the same thing. So we've got two Mario Brothers PCBs. God, I hate it was doing my head in today. We've got the filter board. So basically this connects onto the board I just showed you. Then the loom in the cab connects to this top connector here. And we have a wiring harness. So this is basically the edge connector that kicks on the edge connector here. Now this is wired up differently to the Popeye one. Now there's connectors on here that are not used, but on Popeye they are, and the wires are in different places. It's not a straightforward, oh yeah, you copy it, move these. It's a bit more complicated than that. I know this has got the two controllers because Popeye's only got one. This has two for the Luigi. So I initially wanted to buy this so I was thinking, yeah, I could swap it straight out. I could strip this part off of this loom off of here and add it to the Popeye one, so I could just basically interchange the PCBs. That's what I thought I could do. Turns out you can't. So basically, these are the ends that connect onto the power supply. Here, these two. They are very different, slightly different. This one's got a black cable and this one hasn't. Apart from that, they're the same. So on the Popeye, these are, you can see this one here has got like one block on where it links like 4 to 1, whereas Popeye there's about 7 of these, all in the space of this region, and they're all matched, bodged up like that. So it's completely different. So I'm not going to start messing about with the Popeye one or this one, because I don't know what I'm doing. And basically what I need to work out, I've worked out that this goes to the monitor. I know that much. I think this one does too. Again, I can't be sure. And then you've got these, which I think go to operate the coin mechanism. But again, I don't know which is what, and I don't want to cock it up. I don't want to break anything. So I'm going to have to get some help with it. But it's nice to know that I've got a loom, I've got a board, and hopefully at some point in the future, I'll have a working Mario Brothers. Finally. Yeah, so that is it. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not it. Operation Wolf. Oh my god, my nose is killing me today. What's up to Operation Wolf? So basically, I don't think I mentioned this before, but I had it fixed and then it broke. I was playing it and it just cut off. So I sent the board away. He fixed it and then sent it back, and I plugged it all in and it wouldn't work out of the box. So I messaged the guy, he said send it back. So I sent it back to him. He then told me that it got damaged in the post, not from me sending it to him, but him sending it to me, because the reason it wouldn't work was because the board was cracked. So the monitor chassis got cracked in the post, which was, I couldn't believe it. I was like, you're kidding me. What am I going to do now? Because I can't use the bloody game at all. But he messaged back, said, don't worry, I can fix it. I was like, nice one. I didn't even spot it was broken. I mean, it must have been, like I say, a crack, but a hairline crack. I couldn't see it anyway. So he then said, I'll repair it for free and send it back to you. I was like, nice one, really appreciate it. So he sent it back to me middle of last week, last Wednesday I think it was. I got it, and I got out of the box, checked it. I could see where he had soldered like cable over the traces to bridge the gaps on the board. I thought, a nice one. So connected it all back in, put it all back on, turned it on, worked first time. I thought, what a result. So I spent about half hour, 40 minutes adjusting, again, stretching the screen out on the colours because he has to adjust it to fit his monitor he's running it on. He did a 24-hour test run on it and it said it worked fine. So I just basically tweaked the colours again, and now Operation Wolf is fully functional again. So it's cost me about 120 quid to and throwing it in the post and fucking around with it. But finally, we've got it working. So we've got working Operation Wolf, Popeye is obviously working, Mario Brothers will work one day, and we've got 2 Super Nintendo games. So that's basically what I bought this month. That's budget spent. So, and I've sold some stuff. That Spectrum bundle I mentioned, that I haven't done, I did the video on, but the video fucked up with. I sold that bundle. I kept the games I wanted out of it, sold everything else off, and made my money back and some. So that's what I've done. So I sold that off, used that money to buy the Mario Brothers kit, PCB and harness, and then basically my gaming allowance bought my SNES games this month. So that's it this month. We're in April, so basically no more pickups for April. I hope to be back next month with some additional items, depending on what happens financially. I've got a bit of news to talk about that at a later date, so I'm not going to say anything just yet. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I'm rambling. It's getting late. It's 11:15 on a school night, so I'm going to have to go to bed. And my nose is trying to run because I've got hay fever. So, again, guys, I hope all is well, and I shall, yeah, catch you again soon in another video. Take it easy.